Hello folks, this is Mike, PC31 the Vinyl Policeman. That was a snippet from a gig I've just come back from. The mighty Hugh Cornwell, the Stranglers' old frontman, at the 1865 Club in Southampton, which is quite a small venue, but not too far away from where I live. Really good show, fantastic. It was Hugh Cornwell, obviously on his trusty Telecaster, and it was with a bass player and a drummer. First half of the show, which is about an hour, was from all solo material, Hugh Cornwell's solo material. I mean, he's made about 10 solo albums now, and so there's quite a lot of material to choose from. This second half of the show, another just over an hour, about an hour and 5 minutes, was all Stranglers classics. And they did Peaches, Hanging Around, Strange Little Girl, Duchess, Bring on the Nubiles, 5 minutes. Just Stranglers classic after Stranglers classic. Really, really, really good show. He's in the middle of a 21-day tour at the moment of the UK, and well worth seeing. Very, very, very enjoyable. I hung around afterwards, like you do, and I bought an album which I didn't have from before, Monster, which was his 9th album from 2018, got to number 62 in the UK charts, and I managed to have a chat with him, and he signed it for me. I think you can just about see it there, and he was really good to talk to. He had time, and that was fantastic. This is a really good album, actually. I've only played it once so far, but basically Monster, it's a double album, but Monster's the first record, and all the tracks, as I say, this is from 2018, all the tracks are based on an individual. I mean, mostly famous people, but The Grande Dame is about his mother, but all the rest are about famous people. I mean, Pure Evil was about Evel Knievel. Mr. Leather was about a meeting he didn't have with Lou Reed. I think he had a dinner date or something. Most Beautiful Girl in Hollywood, that was about Hedy Lamarr. Bilko, Phil Silvers. Then you got things like, for instance, Robert, that's about Robert Mugabe and the African leader. Deuce Coochie Man, that's about Benito Mussolini. So it's a real mixture of people, but they're all about, each song's about individual people. And the record company at the time, apparently, they said to him, we want to put another record out with it. And between the record company and Hugh, they decided to do an album called Restoration. And this is all acoustic. And it's all Stranglers classics, but done quite dark, actually, but acoustically. But you've got things like Outside Tokyo from Black and White, Let Me Down Easy, Souls from Oral Sculptor, Don't Bring Harry from Raven, Goodbye Toulouse from the wonderful Rattus Norvegicus, No More Heroes, couple from Feline, couple from Dreamtime. So that's really good. And I say I got a signature, so that's fantastic. Double album, just normal black vinyl, but really good. But the actual tour is promoting his new album, which is called Moments of Madness, which is this album. And I guess this could have gone down to Chris Brophy's thread of creepy covers with the eye on the other side there. But this is quite a strong album, actually. Came out in October, and it's Hugh's 10th solo album. But I really enjoy it. I mean, he wrote all the tracks on the album, kind of as you expect, but he also plays virtually all the instruments: guitars, bass, drums, and keyboards. The only thing I think he didn't play, and it was a bit of harmonica, and a little bit of drum programming in places. But Hugh did everything on it, and it's a really strong album actually. I thoroughly enjoy it. That's the track listing. He opened up the other night actually with "Coming Out of the Wilderness," and what I'll do is I'll play you a little snippet of that now.
I'm coming out of the wilderness, been away too long, learned how to live in the jungle, feeling good and strong. I'm coming out of the wilderness, learned how to throw a bowie now. In a fair maidens out there, and didn't take no wife. Put your ear down to the ground and hear what's coming round.
Hope you enjoyed that. This is the actual vinyl, kind of got a limited edition one, so this minty green vinyl, which is very good. Also with the album, all of a sudden I've gone from 0 Hugh Cornwell signatures to lots, because that came with it as well, with Hugh's signature on it, so I'm a lucky man. There we go. I went to another gig a short while ago, another local gig actually, and it was, I went to see Jah Wobble. Jah Wobble's in the Invaders of the Heart, who are on a tour at the moment. I mean, Jah Wobble was on the first 3 Pill albums and released so many albums of his own accord. Jah Wobble, for those who don't know, is the bass guitarist for Pill, a dub bass guitarist, very experimental, released so much material, released an album with Brian Eno, but another person I wanted to speak to actually was about Keith Levene, because Keith Levene, who Jah Wobble has also released some material with, Keith Levene passed away last week, so I just wanted to pay a bit of a tribute to him. He was 65, died of cancer. He was Pill's original guitar player, and he was on the first 4 Pill albums. He was on the first album, the first issue, The Metal Box, Paris in Spring, and also The Flowers of Romance. And although Keith Levene was a guitarist, he also, on some of the albums, he played a bit of cello, synthesizer, bass, keyboard, multiple keyboards. And he also did a lot of producing as well. I know he produced some demos for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And on one of Keith Levene's solo albums, I think the Chili Peppers actually guested on that. They played a lot of the instrumentation. The other really interesting thing about Keith Levene was he was one of the founder members of The Clash, and he was obviously one of the founder members of Pill as well after John Lydon left the Pistols. And although Keith Levene didn't actually appear on any Clash albums, he was, as I say, a founder member, and I believe he was the one who actually persuaded Joe Strummer to leave the 101ers for the Clash. So Keith Levene has done some pretty major things in the punk and post-punk eras that we all know and love. Yeah, so that's a tribute to Keith Levene, who's just passed away, age of just 65, so very sad. Jah Wobble, so went to this gig, Jah Wobble with the Invaders of the Heart, and really good. Saw him in a very, very small place, about 2nd row from the front, so saw everything that was going on, and actually bought an album afterwards, which he didn't really play material from this, but I quite like this kind of thing. Jah Wobble was married to a Chinese lady, and he actually produced this album fairly recently. I think it was about 2018, 2019. Not 100% sure about that, but Guayan, so which is basically a bodhisattva a female deity, a being that's reached enlightenment but chooses to stay on Earth, and all the music on the album is very well. It's kind of Chinese versus Western music. There's obviously some big bass work on there. All written by Jah Wobble, brilliantly produced actually by Jah Wobble. It's really nicely done. But on the album, it features Jah Wobble's wife, Zealan, and his 2 sons as well. You can see the pictures of them there. But it's a beautiful album actually, and I should play you a little extract from the title track, Guayan. But yeah, excellent production, and it's a follow-up. I think he made Chinese dub in 2008, and as I say, this has come several years later. But an enjoyable gig, and this album is something which is quite a soothing album. So very, very Chinese influenced, but there's also some Western rhythms in there as well, and some big bass work as you'd expect from Jah Wobble. The final few things I just wanted to show you this in this particular video, folks. I picked up an awful lot of records and CDs this month actually, but just wanted to show you kind of a last thing in this particular video, and I picked up the first album by this Mortal Coil on 4AD. This was their first album from 1984. This is a collective which is made up, which Ivo Watts Russell put together, the head guy of 4AD, and where you've got the Cocteau Twins, Colourbox, Dead Can Dance, Modern English on the label, he actually put together a collaboration of all those artists and different lead vocalists and things from the label to make up this Mortal Coil, so that they step in and out of the project. Interestingly, on all this 3 albums that came out under this Mortal Coil and 1 EP, on the cover of the 3 albums, you've got the beautiful French model, Pallas Citroën, and there she is on this one, and it's a stunning atmospheric cover actually. I hope you can see that clearly. There you go. And it's on the original 4AD label there, but it's wonderful dream pop, quite gothic, ethereal. It really kind of swirls around. It's very, very atmospheric, and you got Elizabeth Fraser of the Cocteaus on a few of the tracks. You got Howard Devoto of Magazine, originally with the Buzzcocks, on some tracks. And there's a real combination of different artists there. I also managed during the month, coincidentally, to pick it up on CD, so I've been playing it quite a lot. The other thing I managed to pick up as well was the original EP, the 12-inch EP, which is basically got 16 Days, Gathering Dust, the incredible Song to the Siren, Tim Buckley song, and 16 Days Reprise. So that's what started this Mortal Coil collaboration, is that particular EP, and it's excellent. It really is. With the Song to the Siren, actually, it's a song that I've always absolutely loved. Another version of that, Elizabeth Fraser sings it really, really well, and it's superb. But another version I really, really like, actually, it's on YouTube, is Robert Plant's, where you see him do a live version. And I would recommend checking that out, because I think he really does it justice as well. It's a fantastic song from Tim Buckley. The other thing I picked up, which I can't comment too much on it because I haven't actually played it yet. I've got so much new stuff to play at the moment. But I picked up what is this Mortal Coil's second album, Filigree and Shadow, again with Pallas Citrion on the cover there. And another really atmospheric cover again. And it's a Japanese one, actually, with the obi strip. So I'm looking forward to playing that one. I know it's going to be really good. And I should be on the lookout for that on vinyl. And then the third album. But what I'll do is, in this particular video, I'll leave you with an extract of Song to the Siren.
Did I dream you dreamed about me? Were you here when I was for sale? Now my foolish boat is leaning, broken off long. For you sing, touch me not, come back tomorrow. Oh my heart shines from the sorrow. Long as puzzled as newborn child, I'm as riddled as the tide. Should I stand with the breakers, or should I not?